So I've been interested in RFID for almost 2 decades now. I did a series of research of trying to think of RFID as a user interface tool. Suddenly the computer or some system could recognize what it was you were holding, what it was you were interested in, and from that infer what it might need to tell you. So some of our earliest RFID things were the idea of, like, if you bring a pill bottle to your screen, you might want to find out dosage information. You might want to reorder more. You might need to contact your doctor. But you can narrow down the set of things that might need to happen with that screen to a few prime choices without the person having to pull out a keyboard and start typing in search box terms and things like that. And that research got labeled the Internet of Things, which has become very much on people's minds these days. It's taking a really, really long time for it to take off. But RFID continues to be a key element to it. I think what's changing right now with the Internet of Things is, back in the mid-90s, when we first started looking at this, we kind of had 2 or 3 devices, if we were lucky, that were capable of communicating on networks. And yet maybe in the course of a day, we touched on hundreds or thousands. So in trying to think of the Internet of Things, having a really lightweight, really inexpensive radio transponder technology like RFID was the natural way to go looking. But today, with the drop in prices in communication and the dropping in prices of processing, we're kind of an environment where we now have maybe a dozen things routinely around us that are well connected, and we could imagine extending that to hundreds. And so I think Internet of Things has sort of become much more about how do we put even more capable radios than RFID into all of the objects or many of the objects around us, and what are the most useful objects for those to be right now. And I think that's a question that we don't quite know the answer to yet, and I think that's one of the high places of research right now. We have a plethora of radio technologies right now to communicate with, which at the sort of the least expensive end of the scale is RFID with a very simple radio transponder. Then we have things like ANT, which is what things like the Fitbit and our Nike Plus shoes use. We have NFC, we have Bluetooth, and Bluetooth is becoming lower power and less expensive. Wi-Fi, I think, is something we're all very familiar with at this point, but what people might not realize is Wi-Fi is continuing to evolve at an amazing pace, where not only are the speeds going up, but the costs are going down and the battery usage is going down, to the point where Wi-Fi is going to be present in many more devices in the coming years than we've seen it in yet. And then, of course, we have our 3G and our 4G radios. And so we have this whole, in the middle, there's Zigbee and a couple of other technologies. So we have this almost maybe too many different ways of creating radio links between objects, between things. And the reason I say maybe too many is because we kind of run into this problem where we may have 2 devices and they both may be radio enabled, but they can't talk to each other because they're using different kinds of radios. So I think, coming into our near to midterm future is both a continued explosion of these kinds of radio connected devices, but at the same time, hopefully some consolidation as people begin to realize the benefits of having everything be able to talk to everything instead of just things being able to talk to certain other things.